Hi folks, I'm Steve the Hurricane, and this is A Drink with the Hurricane. Cheers. So for today's episode of A Drink with the Hurricane, I'm going to continue on the social worker video training that we have that's going to be featured at the Hurricane Marketing Bootcamp 2.0 this February. This training interview, I've actually interviewed two social workers who are dear friends of mine now, who refer vendors and deal with vendors every single day of the week, and they basically tell all as to how they wish to be treated, how to be approached, how to win them over, and everything else from being on the other side of the desk. You cannot afford to miss this boot camp. Now, for today's episode, I'm actually kind of comical and I'm laughing. This is one of my favorite parts of the interviews that I did with these individuals. And we talked about their pet peeves with vendors. So we're going to go through 3 of those pet peeves now. There were more, but these were 3 of their biggest pet peeves. The first one was when people stand outside of their door. So many social workers, if you've ever been into a hospital, a rehab center, a skilled nursing facility, they have an office and there's either a window in their door or there's a window to the side. They see us standing there, or their door is open. They're on the phone, they're checking their email, they're in with the patient, and we're just standing there outside, walking back and forth, waiting. They cannot stand that. And can you blame them? If it was you and you were sitting there and somebody was standing outside your office and you were in the middle of doing something and it wasn't the first time, it's the same person over and over again. Or keep in mind, you're a social worker. There's 50 people every week coming to your organization from a variety of service providers, and they all do the same thing. That would drive me nuts, and I'm sure it would drive you nuts too. They do not appreciate that. So do yourself a favor, don't do that. The second thing that they talked about as a pet peeve of theirs is showing up unannounced. Now this is kind of difficult and tricky to do. There are many techniques that we're going to go over at the boot camp on how to get around this, because from our point of view, we have to have drop-by visits. We have quotas, we have to have appointments and so on. So that's a challenge, but be mindful of the fact that they don't like when people just show up unannounced. So as a quick tip that I will give to you on how to combat this, have a reason for being there. Whether it's following up with a client that they referred you, inviting them to an event, doing an activity on site, sharing an interesting article you found online, having a reason for dropping by will allow it so that you're not just coming by unannounced, you actually have a purpose with some urgency to show up there. So even though, yes, you're coming unannounced, there's a purpose for it besides asking for a referral. They'll appreciate that, and that'll help you out. And that's just the second one. And here's the third one. They cannot stand when we drop by at the busiest time of the week. What is the busiest time of the week? That Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, or 3 o'clock towards the end of the day. That's when they have their last minute discharges. That's when it's crunch time. That's when it's difficult for them to actually make time to see us. And it really drives them crazy. Now, there is a caveat here, and this is something that I actually asked during the interview that you'll see at the boot camp when you come. But I actually said, now I know that this is a busy time. If you are established in the referral source and you show up, is that a good time to come? And they said, yes, that is a good time, because both of these social workers used to refer me quite frequently. So when I had asked them that, they said they used to see me and they were happy to see me because they had that last minute discharge and they already trusted me. But in the beginning, when you're trying to develop your relationship, they don't trust you yet. They don't know you. So when you show up to make small talk and build a relationship, that's truly a time when they don't have for it. They're not going to give you the referral. You're going to be wasting your time. You're going to be irking them. They're not going to refer you in the future. Trust me, find out when is a good time and come then. So those are the 3 of the many pet peeves that the social workers have with us as vendors. And again, at the boot camp, this is a 90-minute session that we're going to go through. We're going to watch the interview. We're going to talk through it. We're going to talk about how we can get around and do what we need to do to get in front of our social workers, build the relationship that leads to trust and referrals to grow our business, making 2016 our best year yet. So I can't wait to meet you in Phoenix. Register now. Space is running out, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.